Folks, this week on Sportsman TV, we're going shallow. Dularge, Louisiana, hunting these redfish in as a little of water as we can find them in. We've got the boat for it. We've got the captain for it. It's going to be a good time. Come go with us.
Well, the surface drive industry, shallow water boats are becoming real popular. One big thing is they become really efficient or speed oriented. We always had the old school mud boat, which was your traditional through hull with your propeller inboard design. Then there was the long tail design, you've seen them, but those were very slow and inefficient. So what this surface drive did is it combined the two industries, or the two needs, which was speed, efficiency, but had the same power and reliability that you had to go in the shallow water.
I actually met Bubba this morning about 6 o'clock this morning, and he's got an awesome rig. I can tell you that. I fell in love with it before he ever put it in the water this morning. When you see a guy with a boat like that, you know it's going to be a good time. You're running out there in 8 or 10 inches of water, you can see the fish wake, or when you get in a pond where the water's clear enough, you can visibly see the fish swimming around. So what that allows you to do, in most boats, you'd have to go in, pole or trolling motor around, fish the whole deal to find it. So you may waste the whole day and never find them. In a boat like this, you can cover thousands of acres in a couple-day period just by riding.
It's really opened up, a lot of the red fishing that's its bread and butter. Shallow water flats, stalking them, and they have the boats, and you'll be able to get to those places. A lot of big boats, outboard boats, traditional style boats can draft that water and can really get in there with the trolling motor. The problem is it's getting in and getting out. With these surface drives, you can go in and not have worry-free what the tide's doing, stalk them, actually trolling motor in, and then what's happening is you got to get out. Well, now it's just turn the key on, point the direction, and go. Hop from point to point, pond to pond, place to place. Again, it's fuel efficient, but it's fishing efficient. There's no downtime. I mean, if you're running, you're running. When you're on it, you're on it. There's no idle in, idle out, hold on, watch out, let's go around. It's A to B.
Why Buoy Outfitters? Our customers know why.
When you need something, you come in, you ask for it, and you can get it. Great selection of clothes here, guns, shells, calls, whatever you need. I like coming in and doing that. And more importantly for me, I'm a big bow hunter. I think these guys are better than anybody. That's why I come over to Buoy Outfitters.
That's Buoy Outfitters, Perkins Road between Essen Lane and Bluebonnet. Buoy Outfitters, for everything outdoors.
As fishermen, we're predators, and fish are the prey. In nature, the best fishermen have one thing in common: their eyes. How do you turn your eyes into the eye of a predator? It takes 11 layers of lens technology and a new lens color to make the human eye emulate the eye of a predator. Stop buying glasses for the classes. Make yourself an alpha predator.
Fishing. It's where good stories come from. It's about good times and family and friends. It's about taking a couple home for dinner tonight and saving a few for tomorrow. It's all about that and so much more. To CCA, fishing is about enjoying today and making sure tomorrow is even better. To us, fishing comes with a responsibility for the resources we enjoy so much. If fishing means all that to you, then you belong with CCA.
Don't just be a sportsman, look like one too. Men, women, kids, everyone wants to look like a good sport. And now you can find it all in one place without leaving the house. Our popular Sportsman logo clothing and accessories are just a click away at LouisianaSportsman.com. T-shirts, caps, polarized sunglasses, jewelry, koozies, and more are available in a variety of sizes and colors. It's easy to show the world that you are a sportsman. Visit shop.louisianasportsman.com today and get that perfect sportsman item for yourself or as a gift for that sportsman in your life.
You know, those same ponds that we spent all winter in chasing ducks are now full of redfish. First thing to get started when you're hunting redfish in the ponds, a good pair of polarized sunglasses. You know, Strike King makes a really good, affordable pair. Textbook blue lens, bright day. I really like these. Cuts down on the glare. Something a lot of people don't think about, cloudy weather. On cloudy weather, I go to a yellow pair. This is actually a pair referred to as Twilight. Just brightens everything up, puts the grass in detail. You know, that's a big key when you're red fishing in a pond, is the vegetation in the pond. So even if I can't visibly see that fish, I need to be able to visibly see where the grass is. I have a little different approach when going to those ponds. I like to redfish for sport. I like to see them get a lure. I try to stick with a topwater bait anytime possible. You know, what happens in those ponds, there's a lot of vegetation, so a normal bait with treble hooks, will stay hung up. One thing I like to do, I like the buzz bait. You can put any type of plastic trailer on the back just by, pulling it right off. It's weedless. They hear it coming, they like to wake it, eat it from behind. Another thing, probably my favorite, is a Strike King KVD Sexy Frog. What I like about this, it's totally weedless. I can walk it like a walk the dog lure. I can fish it on big line, 50, 65, 80-pound braid, and those redfish will suck it to their crushers. Not sure what they think it is, but they really like it. All this stuff is available at Bowie Outfitters. Our main goal this morning was, to hunt and stalk shallow water redfish. We had the boat for the job, we had the area for the job. It's kind of an adventure for me starting off this morning just because I've never fished doulards before. I've never been this far south in this part of Louisiana, so that was a cool thing. Anytime you get to go and see a new part of the state, it just goes to show you, as much as I fish in the state, and there's still miles and miles of it that I've never got to fish before. So for me, it was an adventure regardless of what happened, because I'm seeing a new part of the state.
Fishing with Greg was unbelievable. He tells me how excited he was when he saw my boat and to be fishing in South Louisiana and doulards. Me, it was just the opposite. Wow, I'm going to be fishing with a Bassmaster. Something you see on TV. You somewhat idolize those guys. I grew up fishing. I was in his back pocket all day. As much as I thought I knew, I only know 1/10. And he was giving, so I was asking. Once he was releasing it, so it was really neat. Maybe it helps me. I can go home and realize, I guess what kind of fisherman I am compared to a professional. Pretty neat,
That possibly could be the smallest redfish I've ever caught. But he got a lot of spots. That's got to stand for something. Future filet gumbo.
Oh yeah, nice one. Ready. Looking at about 8 inches to a foot. Just putting the trolling motor down along the bank. Just throwing out all the little cuts. So today, very difficult in the early morning. The water was high, which makes it harder. The more water they have to play in, the less chances we get to see them. You can visually see through the water, but it was a little murky, high, which makes it tough. And we rode around, covered some ground, but it was still an efficient day because we could do it so fast. You could have never done it with a regular boat on the amount of territory we covered. You would have had to fish the territory. So we picked up, move, and when we found them, we figured out what they were doing, and we could just move in. Ironically, we talk about the shallow water. Well, we ran into heavy vegetation. Another one great reason why these surface drives are there. We had to cross big, vegetation flats, lilies, and all kind of vegetation that was, you would have never even attempted to do in a traditional style boat.
I think that's the coolest thing about those boats. As long as you have water, you can go. And honestly, I think we were going sometime when we didn't actually have any water. We were just running over vegetation mats where it was wet. I laugh about it, but I think you could hose down the yard out there and run through the yard with that boat. That shallow water fishing is by far my favorite. Being able to get back to these fish that don't get fished for, see them swimming around, see their tails sticking out of the water. And, you know, anybody who bass fishes can do this. Anybody that can throw a casting rod can do this. You know, the deal is to have a boat that you can get back there with, and just something, a good weedless lure that comes through that grass. Basically, it's a bait that you see me use before. It's a Strike King Pure Poison, just a bladed jig. One thing that is different, I use a trailer on it when I'm fishing for bass, and it seems like it makes them eat it better. But on the redfish, I found that you don't need it. And another thing about it, by not using that trailer, we're fishing real skinny water, and I'm keeping that bait up above the grass. You know, to really tell, and you get a lot of vibration when you don't use the trailer on it, and it just seems like it helps those redfish find it. And you would think this bait wouldn't be weedless because it's an exposed hook, but the way it rides and that blade, it runs right over the grass, you know, and that hook's turned up, so you don't get hung in the grass. When that fish gets, you get a good hook up.
Why Bowie Outfitters? Our customers know why.
Bowie Outfitters is a friendly place. Bowie Outfitters is a very personable place. When you walk in the front doors, everybody's telling you hello, and it makes it very easy to come in here and shop and be a customer and go to the archery range and go to the gun counter just because you're going to get personalized service.
That's Bowie Outfitters, Perkins Road between Essen Lane and Bluebonnet. Bowie Outfitters, for everything outdoors.
As fishermen, we're predators, and fish are the prey. In nature, the best fishermen have one thing in common: their eyes. How do you turn your eyes into the eye of a predator? It takes 11 layers of lens technology and a new lens color to make the human eye emulate the eye of a predator. Stop buying glasses for the classes. Make yourself an alpha predator.
Quality, performance, value. Polaris has it all. Whether you want a hard-working Ranger, smooth-riding Sportsman, or razor-sharp Razor, we've got a full line of industry-leading machines, all priced hundreds less than you'd expect. Right away on a Polaris Sportsman 400 for as little as $56.99 during the Polaris XP sales event. See all the great deals at Polaris.com.
Louisiana Sportsman Magazine. For over 31 years, your source for fishing and hunting information. Each month you will find stories by local experts on everything from bass to redfish to ducks, deer to trout and turkey. We've got incredible local information that you can use immediately to get more success outdoors. You'll also enjoy monthly columns on cooking, the latest lures, GPS locations, shooting, kayaks, and much more. Have Louisiana Sportsman delivered to your house and safe. $24.99 gets you a full year of Louisiana Sportsman. To order today, visit louisianasportsman.com.
How y'all doing today? Ken Sherman with Front to Back Boat Service here in Baton Rouge. Today we're going to do a trolling motor segment. We're going to talk about some things to do, maintenance on a trolling motor, maybe find a problem before you leave, hopefully that you don't get out there and have a problem. The most common place I see a lot of problems is right here on these trolling motor plugs, whether it's just 4-prong plug or 3-prong plug. One thing we're looking for is corrosion around the end of the plug, or the receptacle as well as in your boat. Them things are normally corrode up. This right here causes a whole lot of problems in our saltwater market. Or you can even wipe Vaseline, as I've stated before. Vaseline will work real well to keep corrosion from growing on it. I know not many people know to pull the prop off the trolling motor, but this right here really causes a lot of problems. But you want to make sure that we pull this off. Monofilament behind here will cut the seal. And so we want to make sure that's clean. A monofilament and grass will actually restrict this thing and not make it run as well. So what we want to do is I want you to inspect your shaft. If you see any hairline cracks running the length of the shaft, you need to bring that thing in because there's a possibility it's going to get water in the motor and that cause a major, major issue. When you're spraying your grease and stuff on your plug, you also want to go through your little nuts and bolts right here, all your latch pins and your lockdowns. With this Minn Kota right here, this is probably one of the places that needs to be the most is right up here on the very head of it up here. What we're looking at is we're looking at our 2 drop pins. This is the biggest question that I have. It says, how do I get my trolling motor off of my boat? Well, right here, we want to make sure we spray the lower pin and the upper boat. On a Minn Kota, to get a Minn Kota off of the boat that doesn't have the gate assembly on it, we have to take and undo the bolt here. We have to take and pull this pin out, and this system will actually come off the boat where you can bring your motor to get service and stuff done on it. So you want to make sure you're lubricating these real well when you do your little maintenance tips on it. That right there is probably the biggest thing and the most difficult thing that goes on with these motors when they have to get them in for service. A couple little tips like that, if you have issues with it, makes it easy to get off. The line behind the prop makes it real easy to keep where you don't load your batteries and run your batteries down. So you want to make sure that that kind of goes along and help you have you a good day fishing.
The cool thing about when you leave the deep water and go into the shallow water is you're visibly looking for those fish. Like we started off this morning, you know, riding in the boat. We're not fishing to find them. We're looking with our eyes, with our polarized glasses. We're looking for pushes. You know, we're running in those ponds looking for big wakes.
You know, in the morning, it was tough. We were in a little area, probably about a 30-40 minute boat ride from the marina. A lot of open duck ponds, shallow water. Well, I pulled up in another spot I had been 100 times before and didn't see any life, any fish. And I said, you know, we can't just keep on beating a dead horse. We had done this all morning. We were in different areas, same conditions. And I said, okay, we need to make a move. Kind of made a decision, let's run an area. I was trying to mimic the same area that I was at in a different location, different salinity, different terrain, but the same shallow water, same thing to see if they're there. Went around, tried to find some grass, and basically I came upon a big grass flat with a shallow water ditch in there, and the water had cleared up, the grass had acted as a filter. It wasn't two casts into it, they were there. Once we figured them out, it was on after that.
Honestly, it had been really hard all day, but I had totally forgot about the bad part of the day. I mean, it all turned around that quick, and probably for the next hour, hour and a half, we would crank up and run back up that section and float back between it again, and they just kept replenishing themselves. That's what's always cool about fishing. It's the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, and it all happens like that. You know, I missed that fish the first time I threw in there. I felt him slack the bait, and I threw it right back in there. And, you know, typical for redfish, they like it. When they come to get a bait, they come to get it. Well, this is another really pretty fish. And, you know, this is the first time I've got the redfish in a while. I've been bass fishing all year, and it's the first time I've really got out there and get to chase the redfish. And one thing that's different between a redfish and a bass, you know, a bass, you get a violent strike, and they fight. But nothing compares to the way a redfish fights. I mean, a redfish pound for pound is one of the strongest fish, you know, in the country to fish for. You know, that's one of the deals with catching a redfish is to fight. You know, I used braided line today and a big rod and cranked the drag down because I like to feel that raw power of the fish. And that's the cool thing about a redfish. They never give up. I don't care how big they are. The first one I caught this morning was probably 13 inches. And it hit like a 5-pounder, you know. So, I mean, they're an aggressive fish. They're different. They're built longer. You know, they live in a harsh environment, too. I think that's one reason it makes them so strong. I mean, they have to outrun bigger predators. You know, that's one thing about a bass. He's the apex predator. You know, the redfish is not. I mean, there's sharks, there's dolphins, there's big jack crevalle. I mean, there's everything eats everything in salt water. That's the cool thing about fishing in it. I'm struggling with him for some reason. He's not jumping, so I don't think it's a bass. Little redfish. They do pull hard and they are fun to catch. He's gonna jump. He's showing out, he thinks he's a bass.
Why Buoy Outfitters? Our customers know why.
When you need something, you come in, you ask for it, and you can get it. Great selection of clothes here, guns, shells, calls, whatever you need. I like coming in and doing that. And more importantly for me, I'm a big bow hunter. I think these guys are better than anybody. That's why I come over to Buoy Outfitters.
That's Buoy Outfitters, Perkins Road between Essen Lane and Bluebonnet. Bowie Outfitters, for everything outdoors.
As fishermen, we're predators, and fish are the prey. In nature, the best fishermen have one thing in common: their eyes. How do you turn your eyes into the eye of a predator? It takes 11 layers of lens technology and a new lens color to make the human eye emulate the eye of a predator. Stop buying glasses for the classes. Make yourself an alpha predator.
At Service Chevrolet Cadillac, the service experience runs deep. It begins with a major investment in our beautiful new showroom on Ambassador Caffrey. Add to that the largest inventory of exciting Chevy and Cadillac vehicles. Then there's the exceptional service that's made us what we are today, Acadiana's most recognized and respected Chevy and Cadillac dealer. It's in our DNA. It's in our name. Service Chevrolet Cadillac. Experience the difference.
Fishing. It's where good stories come from. It's about good times and family and friends. It's about taking a couple home for dinner tonight and saving a few for tomorrow. It's all about that and so much more. To CCA, fishing is about enjoying today and making sure tomorrow is even better. To us, fishing comes with a responsibility for the resources we enjoy so much. If fishing means all that to you, then you belong with CCA.
Hitting that spoon right there, clear water. Come on, two at a time. Look, go. There you go. That's it. All right. There he is. Hey, brothers. Look at that. The service drive industry is going on 10 years now. The reliability, versatility, these things, mud boats, I keep on going to this, your traditional style hunting boat was a one-purpose, 2-3 month out the year boat. You bought it for one purpose. It was to go from the camp to the duck blind. You didn't fish out of it. All you did was, you hardly even hunted out of it. It was just a transportation. Now these things have depth finders, all the amenities to do all the different activities here in South Louisiana and throughout the country. You can hunt out of it. You can fish out of it. We talk about, a crossover sport, bow fishing. So it becomes an extremely versatile boat. We have a lot of law enforcement, fire and rescue. You see the floods up in, the rivers that flood in the towns. Well, now they can traverse you. You don't know what's underneath there. All the hurricane response is tremendous. Down here with the flooded streets. An outboard, you're not worried about the shallow water. You have flooded waters, but you have stuff underneath there, street signs, fences. We think about stumps and logs, but there's people driving over, someone's front yard, fence in their front yard or side yard. But that's something that's, kind of sprung off with this industry.
I can't say enough about these boats. They're tailor-made for Louisiana. From the north end to the south end. And as far as that goes, they're tailor-made for the southern part of the United States. There's not one state in the South where you can't use one of these boats, either fishing, hunting, for some reason. I guess probably the thing I like about it the best on the motors are you don't have to worry about a water pump. You can run through any kind of shallow water. It's a guard on there. You can run over rock shoals, oyster reefs, mud. And number one on the list for me in this boat, and I know that y'all gonna get tired of me saying this, but it's a fun boat to drive. I personally have one, and I recommend them for everybody of all ages.
The shallow water industry is growing so fast. New technologies, they're pulling some of the outboard stuff, traditional outboards, and trying to implement it. The big deal behind it, it's air-cooled. It's an air-cooled motor with no water pump. So it's a harsh environment. Boats are made to run in water, and we're trying to put them back on land. Not necessarily on land, but shallow water where the prop is actually pushing the bottom sediment or the vegetation. You stalking fish, getting into a cove, you can just go right in on them, find them, and locate them. A big advantage is scouting. You can ride around, near banks in the shallow water, not having to worry about the channel. Gives you a huge advantage of trying to locate them. Also, point A to B, pick up, turn the key, and go. No trolling motor out to a deep spot, trying to get down it. I guess through the years of use, you learn how to operate with them, and I don't think you could go back.
You know, normally in a normal boat, outboard or whatever, you'd run back in a place and run out of water, and you couldn't get on pad to get out. You'd be push-poling or running your trolling motor, overheating the engine. But with the surface drive, you can just blow in and blow out. You know, we don't have any wasted time. On a day like today, when we've had trouble catching fish starting off, we were able to cover just a lot more area than the normal guy would have. Most people out there, I think, you know, don't have a lot of time. They're on a limited time basis when it comes to fishing. You know, they got that Saturday or that Sunday to fish because they're working the rest of the week. So I think a boat like this, you know, just really speeds up that process, and you can just find those fish a lot. And you can also duck hunt out of it. Little backup deal, go to the deer camp in it. I mean, drag an alligator over the side. I mean, this boat has many uses, and you know, honestly, again, I have to say this, it's fun to drive.
Of what, you know, South Louisiana is made of is the marsh and the delta. You know, the sediment, the sand, and shallow bays and flats, oyster shells, you know, which can be somewhat hazardous to boating if you don't know where you're going or a new area. So it actually opens up your playground.
Well, I hope y'all have had as much fun as we have today. Some shallow water red fishing, some shallow water boat riding. There's not a lot I can say. It's just another day here in the Sportsman's Paradise. Join us next time here on Sportsman TV.
LouisianaSportsman.com is the South's premier hunting and fishing website. Planning a hunting or fishing trip? Visit LouisianaSportsman.com and get up-to-the-date information on weather, tides, or solar data. Our breaking news and continually updating forum will keep you up to date. Or visit our report section and ask the locals what's been biting and where. Need to sell or buy an outdoor item? LouisianaSportsman.com's free classifieds are the quickest way for you to reach the outdoor market. LouisianaSportsman.com, the quick way to get the most of the outdoors.